Hey guys, Casey with Salty Motorworks. It's early right now. Justice and myself, we're just going over some things, so I've got my coffee. This beautiful mess of wires right here. We're doing a set of retrofit headlights for a 97 Supra. And in those lights, I actually have one that I'll grab in a minute to show you. There's 3 different light bays. There's 2 projectors in it from the factory. We're adding a 3rd. And we wanted a sequential system that you can't get out of the box as far as I know. So that way when you turn on your signal, it's going to start with the inside projector and then sequentially move to the outside and flash amber. But the customer still wanted the color changing halos and color changing demon eyes to go with it, but that's what he wanted his signals to be at the same time. Now there is this.
Steal this from you.
This is my assistant right now, taking care of the audio.
My cord is ghetto. I need to buy a new cord, but you can see I've made it last with all these different pieces of tape on it. So somewhere along this line there's a short that I need to retape. So
that's electrical tape, yeah.
How do you cut this?
Carbon Ulfa knife. What's all of the red on the lens?
Oh, that's actually just what's in focus.
Crazy.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Oh man, that's cool.
Oh, there we go. That's probably it right there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right there.
So this is going to be a separate video, the DIY on how to fix mic cords.
Tape. I think we got it.
Awesome. Now we're back after some technical difficulties, but we have more stuff out here and I'm not wearing a jacket anymore. So right here, this is what I was talking about, the 3 bays in the lights. You've got this as a projector, this is a projector, we're adding a 3rd projector here. Now the eyeball of the projector, if you will, we're gonna have that backlit with a demon eye. I don't know, some people call it something else, we're just gonna call it a demon eye. And then there's gonna be a halo mounted around the perimeter of the shroud. And both of the halo and the demon eye will both be color changing. So you could have a red halo and a blue demon eye if you want. What our customer wanted is he also wanted those color changing halos and demon eyes to be his turn signals to clean up the look of the light. So we had to come up with the circuit. When you turn on your turn signal, he wanted it sequential. So this will light up first with amber, this will light up second with amber, and this will light up third with amber, and then it will just continue through. And it will kick off the color automatically. And if you don't have a fancy color on, they're just your daytime running lights and they're gonna be white like this laid out on the table. We got a part from lightworks.net, Lightwerkz. It's a great company to work with. They have amazing customer service. And essentially we got this, which is a profile pivot, I believe is what this is called. Now this is just a little sequencer. You've got 3 wires right here. Black is gonna be your ground, red is gonna be your daytime running light, and yellow is gonna be for your turn signal. Now what this does is it's sequential, so it's sending power to each one of these outputs to the LEDs sequentially. I'll show you what this one does, and it will only take a second because it's fresh out of the box and easy to work with. These are what the LEDs look like that come with it from the profile pivot. There's 1 amber and there's 1 white LED on there. So it's as simple as, I'm just gonna plug in 2 of them so you can get the idea. When you plug these in, and I'll put these, this one's gonna light up first, this one will light up second for that sequential property. How many people throw away their twisty ties on bread bags? Do you put it back on or do you just like wind it up and then fold it under the bag of bread? I'm curious.
I would just throw it away.
You throw it away? Me too. Mess of wires, but it will get the point through. There are our LEDs, and here are the 3 wires to connect. This is just a motorcycle battery that we can test things with. So that's grounded. See how that's white right now? So we're just gonna connect this. This would be for like your daytime running light. There you go. And then this one is going to be like the pivot or the sequential function, and you'll see one of these LEDs will fire slightly before the other. So that's your sequential turn signal. This one here on your guys' right is going to fire first, and then this one over here is going to fire second. So what we wanted is to boost this up so we can run halos and other things off of it, because these halos, they have that same function where they're white and then they will go amber for a turn signal, but there wasn't a way to make it sequential, and I'll show you why. This is a voltmeter. If we test the voltage out of the motorcycle battery, we are at 12.35 volts. That's all fine for this system here, but what the issue is, when we connect it, this output, because it was going straight to LEDs, the output on this board, let me find it, there. This is doing nothing for us. So we're just gonna put that right here. These run off of 12 volts. The power coming out of this board, out of this circuit to light these up was around 4 volts. So you can't have 4 volts power something that requires 12 volts to run. So I knew that we needed a relay. What a relay is, it's an electromagnet. There is going to be a switch side and then a through side. You have your switch that's operated by a signal, power from the switch. It's going to slide an electromagnet, allowing a stronger and higher amp circuit to be engaged. So all a relay is just more power going to something that's operated by a switch.
More power, baby.
More power. So I had to do some research and find a low voltage relay. This relay, it's a 3-volt relay, meaning if where it says A and B, you have 12 volts going into A. B goes to the LED halo that requires 12 volts to run. Then down here, the colors don't make sense. Black in this case is actually positive. We soldered these in, and so this is coming from this circuit. This plugs in, and so now when this circuit is putting out 3 volts, it thinks it's sending power to one of these. It doesn't matter that we deceived this circuit and it's not putting power to that. Now it's sending 3 volts here. 3 volts to the positive, 3 volts to the negative. A little electromagnet slides up and it hits a contactor, and so now 12 volts is going from this A point to this B point, then sending it to the halos. Voila, now we've got sequential halos and demon eyes. I don't know if it's been done. I felt pretty happy about it, and I was also pretty dizzy from the fumes. Here is my wiring diagram schematic that I made up. Now it's pretty difficult to follow. There's your 12-volt source. Here's your sequencer. You can see here the red wire from the sequencer is connected to your positive pole. Then the black wire from the sequencer is connected to the negative pole. You can see here that the yellow wire that's running into the sequencer is hooked up to your car's 12-volt flasher. Coming out of the sequencer, the black wire is positive, the yellow wire is negative, which we soldered into our low voltage relays. Coming out of our relays, we have an A wire that runs up to the positive pole of the battery, getting a fresh 12 volts. Our B wire right here is running to the orange wire of the halos, which normally is what you hook up to your LED flasher, but we don't need that in this circuit because it's all funky. And then the white wire is connected to the 12 volt in this relay, or excuse me, in this circuit, which would be connected to your daytime running light. And then finally, the black wire is connected to your ground. So what does all of this mean? When I touch this wire to this pole on the battery, these halos will sequentially fire that normally run on 12 volts, but they're being operated by a 3-volt circuit. Here we go. That's it. All of that work just for that. I couldn't be happier. but that's how the signals are gonna work. We'll do an update on this build, and we will have the finished product of the headlights, and we'll make sure that we get some videos. It's going in a show Supra 97, nothing better than a 2JZ. I don't know, there's a lot of things better than a 2JZ. You give me a 351 Windsor, I really like those things. Maybe an LS7, who knows? But that's open for debate. Until next time, peace.